Good morning. We're back. We're back once again. Elsa wanted to do an intro. Do you want to do an introduction right now or not? All right, come on. Come over here and do it. Elsa has something to say to everyone of the cryptocurrency space right now.
Ring, ring, ring. Hello, Simpson Virtus, and welcome back to Crowns. Chico.
Oh my God.
Crowns Crypto Cave.
Nice. Okay, you landed that one. It's been a while, and that actually was pretty good. Anyways, plenty to talk about today's Bitcoin. Heading down to the range lows, the same targets that we've been kind of having now on this channel for, what is it, like 2.5 weeks? Excuse my immaturity at the beginning of this stream, but I did need to get something out. Of course, it is dumping time. It's dumping time, guys. There's a time to dump and there's a time to pump. Right now is not the time to pump, unfortunately. Right now is the time to dump. And that is what it is. There will be bounces. There will be bounces of the toilet water back onto your bunghole little blow. But unfortunately, the dump continues. The dump continues! And it is what it is. That's why we love crypto. All kinds of opportunities abound in the space. Anyways, I have a question to people out there. This is more of a question on the behalf of Elsa here, because Elsa has been very scared whenever there is lightning to take a shower. Is it actually dangerous to take a shower when there's lightning going on? I don't think so. I think that maybe that was an issue maybe like 100 years ago, but perhaps I'm wrong. You let me know, because I actually don't know. I'm saying that ChatGPT is maybe a little bit outdated on that information, but I'll wait for some of the comments streaming on that one, because I am actually legitimately interested if someone does have like a horror story of, yeah, man, I was taking a shower in a dump while the lightning was going on and then I got zapped. It was really bad. Zonkard says no. He says no. Ondo Punch, good morning to you, man. Corona Extra, good morning to you as well. I don't have a bidet. I know, man. You must be an American, which is awful. We don't have bidets here. It's the worst thing about America. But on the other side, we have Costco, which makes everything better. It makes everything better than anywhere in Europe. Show me a fucking Costco in Europe, huh? That's what these deprived fucks don't have. No Costco. No Costco, no care. Get the fuck out of here. hate from the North Carolina mountains. I saw someone earlier who said hate and strong disdain from Marrakesh, or what was he? He was like a really good word. I really want to find that, but I don't think I will be able to. What's up, Mr. Tinos? What's up, Peter Underwear? Bear Nutrition. We got our lovely moderators in here. Sushi Yum Yums. Elsa loves sushi, by the way. Santo Beats. John Terry Tees. Hoi Hoi. Hoi Hoi Hoi. Hoi Ho. Gunzy B. Zonkard. Alex Wells. Who else we got? Bazin Gallier, Michael Quinn, yes, I know this name as well. I know a lot of these names. Erica Crown Nano Cave, yes indeed, even this one too. Transkin GPG says, Crown on the shitter again. There's Costco in the UK. Well, the UK is kind of like America light, except, well, maybe not so much anymore. I saw that they sent a letter to 4chan saying, you better do what we want, or we're gonna, I don't know, send you another mean letter. And 4chan basically shot back, we are in America, so fuck off. 1776, looking better and better every fucking day, huh? Great decision, Americans. Glad they did it. Man, when you actually read about the founding fathers, these guys were complete fucking badasses. It is unbelievable how weak we are today compared to these people. These people were true fucking... Okay, I hate the term, like when people say, he's an alpha male or he's a beta male. Like, it's just internet dumb speak from fucking red-pilled moron retards who don't even know fucking 10% of it to begin with. But these guys were actually true alpha. I mean, holy shit, man. When you read about this George Washington guy, you become extremely proud to be an American. You're like, damn, this guy was really something. This guy was really, so like, show me someone like that. I mean, of course, there's people like that who do exist today. Of course. I wouldn't denigrate anyone else like that. But god damn it, I hope that we as a nation could have more collective respect for these people and what they did. I mean, it's actually insane to think about what they went through. And most of the founding fathers, by the way, their life got absolutely destroyed when they actually went through the whole, you know, revolution type thing. It's like we look at all of this as, yeah, it's just, you know, in the history it happened, blah, blah, blah. It was all great. It was sunshine and rainbows and everyone had fucking ice cream. No, it was not. Like most of the founding fathers, their families were fucking killed by the loyalists or the, you know, the British, or their houses were burned down, or they lost all their businesses. You know, they went completely fucking broke just to live this dream, to give everyone here a pretty nice fucking country nowadays. And yes, it's not perfect. It's not perfect indeed, but it's certainly fucking better than most other places. I'll tell you that. Holy shit. Anyways, I got a little bit of caffeine here left to go. It's good, man. Elsa said, "Oh, you can die if you're in the shower." Well, fuck it. I'm betting it all. I'm betting it all. I showed Elsa this. I showed Elsa Deal or No Deal the other day. Now she's hooked. She loves it. It's great. Great show. Deal or No Deal is actually a really good game of probabilities, and you find out really quickly if people are actually retarded or not, because there actually is a right way to play it and a wrong way to play it, and it's pretty damn simple as well, in fact. Anyways, I'll get off that topic because who the hell cares? In the UK, America escaping Britain's grip is seen as a lucky escape for the British. I mean, fair enough. I mean, well, you're entitled to your own opinion, but make sure not to send any mean tweets over the internet, or you may face jail, sir. You can have that. You guys can keep that one. Anyways. No, of course. There are great places in Europe. Don't get me wrong, guys. I've been to many great places in Europe. There's very beautiful places. I mean, holy shit, man. If you go to Greece, you start to believe God exists, and you start to realize why the ancient Greeks were some of the best philosophers of all time. You know, there's places like that. There are great things about Europe. Don't get me wrong, man. I'm just talking shit on the internet. Don't take it so fucking seriously, because some people really get mad when I state that. But yeah, America is better, okay? It's just a fact. I'm not trying to be, you know, all pompous and arrogant over here. I'm just stating things that, you know, are true. That's all, man. Make America British again. I don't know about that one, man. By British, do you mean Indian and Pakistani or actual British? No, kidding, okay, kidding. I understand that the bureaucrats, the Eurocrats in fucking UK will probably send me a lawsuit based off of just that statement, but it is what it is, man. Come at me. Anyways. Check out Telluride in Colorado. I'll give you guys a tour. I hear great things about Colorado, actually, and I've only been there, I think, once in my life, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I was very young, probably too young to really appreciate it. But from all the pictures, all of the videos I've seen on the on the webs, it is truly gorgeous, man. I mean, there's so many places in America that no one even considers. They don't even consider, like, for a moment as gorgeous places, because, you know, they're called flyover states, right? But if you go to fucking Wyoming, like, what the hell, man? Like, Jesus fucking Christ, that place is incredible, absolutely incredible. There's places like that all over, man. In the South, you have these great trees. I fucking love the tree. I talk about the trees all the time, and people get they're like, you are homo, and I'm like, yes, I am. But I really love the trees. They're amazing. They have these things called Spanish moss. It looks so cool. It really does. It's the coolest looking tree in my opinion. Unfortunately, it doesn't. What? I am a closet homo. That's fine. I'm a closet homo, gay for TA, gay as fuck. And again, just speaking facts, man. Just speaking facts. Take it from my fiance Elsa. Anyways. Look, man, if I get canceled, I get canceled. It is what it is, man. It's been a good run, and but, you know, I actually do enjoy doing the YouTube just for, like, the social aspect at this point. It is fun, man. It is fun. Tree hugger ground. I really would like to have those trees. They're amazing, man. They are amazing. Farlington says Arizona's awesome. Yeah, man, we have some family in Arizona. We visited as well. It was awesome. It was really great. You know, there's been, I mean, basically every place that we've been to so far has been pretty awesome. Even Chicago, honestly. Like, I mean, look, there's going to be bad places anywhere, obviously, but when you talk about great American cities, beautiful American cities, Chicago, I mean, that is, in my opinion, the best one. Certainly better than New York. Certainly better than San Francisco. you know, you can actually walk. Well, I don't know how it is nowadays. It's been quite some time since I've been there, but yeah, Australia looks amazing as well, man. Jason Pizzino always shows me fucking pictures of his house, and it really does look like a tropical wonderland. It is awesome, man. But I'm also a little bit afraid of your government too, and also of the crazy species of killer animals that are everywhere as well. Best mountains and skiing in the world. Yeah, the Rockies are certainly epic, man. I didn't realize how much I actually loved mountains, man, until I actually saw them. They are just cool. They're just fucking cool. Mountains and water and mountains, the best of the best. And I think Colorado probably has both of those. Maybe we should check out Colorado too. I don't know. Who knows? We don't know. Nobody knows. Anyways. My grandson and I walk and talk to the trees. Okay, it sounds like you are also on LSD, which is completely normal to do when you are on such things, and that's fine, man. I've had my own conversations as well. There's much to be learned. Anyways, lots to talk about here on what's up? Ben's chair says, I was a tree once. Also a nurse. You should definitely tell your patients that, like, hello, sir. I'm sorry to hear about the heart attack and all of the hardships. But did you know that you could actually talk to trees? I, in fact, was a tree. Chicago politicians, deaf DEI. That's fucking. I don't know if they're DEI. They've been fucking stupid ever since I was there, man. I mean, they weren't even DEI hires when I was there as well. There was some old white guy as well. He's fucking stupid too. It doesn't matter what color you are, man. You can be a fucking moron from any color, from any angle. I don't care what fucking gender, what fucking religion, what color, what creed, whatever. Redax are redax and non-redax are non-redax, despite all of the other things, man. South Florida is the best place to be, buddy. Mountains and you guys have mountains in South Florida? Really? I mean, I don't know. South Florida kind of scares me, man. I don't want to be close to Miami. I have not had good experiences there. Hey, Crown, do you find better TA using exchanges like Binance for your charting? No. I liked using the index chart and then CME. If I have to use an exchange, I will use either Coinbase or Bybit. In general, it's better to use whatever exchange that you're actually going to be trading on. But when we're talking about general analysis, I do think that the index chart is probably the best and kind of tied neck and neck with CME. CME signals do matter more, but the index chart just has more history. So if you're doing long-term analysis, I think that the index chart cannot be beaten. CME is like the best for everything else. And then I think at a later date, as I've been saying, the IBIT chart will also be probably the best one, just because this is going to be the most traded Bitcoin chart, basically. And look at it right here, you know, perfectly opening up on that red 5 EMA on the 5-day time frame. I mean, you know, is this week going to open up on a little bit of a bounce? Probably yes. It doesn't, you know, not really anything crazy right there. But ultimately, I'm starting to really think that Bitcoin's setting in for a prolonged sideways range. And I've been saying this for a while, but I think it might be extended in terms of timing, which again would be a long-term good thing. I think it'd be a long-term great thing. What I think is the least expected thing to happen that I really do think is going to happen here is we see another one of these long, multi-month long consolidations, and then the market just continues up, floating like an ETF, you know, trading like the ETF that we have seen for the past couple of years now, you know, late this year or early into 2026. And then the cycle gets prolonged, or maybe the cycle doesn't even exist anymore. And it's just this, you know, grind up with very long, multi-month long consolidations in a range, but not these like nasty, drastic bear markets where you get, you know, 70, 80% down for a year. Now, I can obviously be massively wrong about this, of course, but that's just my general sort of, controversial opinion as of right now. Tons of nerds in South Florida you'd fit in. Fair enough. I mean, I am definitely a nerd, but I don't know, man. At the same time, I don't want to be nowhere near Miami. But I do see some nice places down there. I've seen, what's the one, Boca Raton? The Rat Mouth? The Rat Mouth, yeah, that's it. We probably should have visited that place. I don't know about living there, but yeah, man, got some friends there as well. It looks cool. Looks really, really beautiful as well. What about Hawaii? 2 high taxes, my man. 2 fucking high taxes. I just escaped a place with extremely high taxes. I ain't fucking going to another one of these places. I'll tell you that. Hell no. I'll visit. I'm happy to visit. I ain't fucking staying there, though. Jesus Christ, man. Imagine paying another 10% or more. Is it 10% or more in personal income tax for your state taxes on top of your federal taxes? Ugh. No, thank you, sir. No, thank you as well. John says I need the quant program. In fact, actually, that does remind me. It isn't the quant program, but the quantum wave bands have actually just been upgraded with a new script here. I'll actually show you really quickly for the lifetime users only. So if we really wanted to reward the people who have had the long-term vision for this one and got the lifetime without even knowing this was coming, but there is now a new script available to you if you did purchase a lifetime version of the quantum waves. What we're calling it the quantum wave suite now, and it's a daily trading strategy. In fact, I'll show it to you right here. I think it even has a trade open or maybe just closed it. Let's see. I'm curious to know what's going on here. Oh, yeah, it actually just closed it. And then it opened another one. Okay, don't know about this next one. Maybe that one's going to be a loss. But overall, this one's been pretty damn consistent over time, man. I've been watching this one for a little bit now. And I love that equity curve just going up and to the right. Now, again, with any sort of strategy, there are going to be losing times. For anyone who's been in the quantum wave bands, for anyone who uses the quant program as well, you know that when you're trading an automated strategy, that leveraging statistics in your favor, it's about the long term. And, these periods right here could be multi-months of basically sideways and down, destroying your equity. But the long term is the name of the game. The longer that you can stay in, the better that it typically does go for you. Anyways, in this case, this script is now available to those people. You can actually claim it yourself. You just need to go through the lifetime version of it right here. You'll see it in the Crown Quant Alchemy site. I know it sounds a little bit confusing, but it's actually pretty simple. And yeah, you can claim it. Or if if it's too difficult or if you're having issues as well, just email elsa.crowntrading@outlook.com. elsa.crowntrading@outlook.com. Yeah, even I have trouble remembering it now. And she'll hook you up. She'll take a look into it. And by the way, I also do want to make sure that people who have been subscribed to the Quantum Wave Suite, even if you were doing a monthly or an annual, we will actually award you 50% of whatever you've already paid towards a lifetime. If you did just want to upgrade to that, we also want to, of course, account for that as well. But yeah, for all the people who had the lifetime previously, you get that new script automatically, and for anyone in the future as well. And I hope that you enjoy that one. That's actually one that I'm going to put a bot on myself, probably after the next loss, hopefully. And I hope this one is going to be a loss over here, to be honest. Anyways, I see a lot of shitcoins being mentioned. Gallo says go to Panama, like Panama Canal or Panama in Florida, because those are two different places, sir. Two very different places. The big daddy of all strategies, Peter Underwood. Yeah, man, it's leveraging a break even. What's it called? Fuck, my brain is breaking right now. It's using a break even feature here. So that definitely does help that equity curve kind of stay smooth, because anytime you get one of these runners, it's not going to let it close at a loss. It's going to try to close it at least like a small gain or a very, very small loss, something that you see like right here, right? So, it's one of those ones that's going to be getting in and out relatively fast. Again, this is not the kind of strategy that's going to be hitting home runs or anything like this. Like if you are considering something like this, please understand, if you're looking for like the fucking plus 50% trade or some people are like, no, dude, that's way too fucking bearish, man. Give me 2x, 3x, fucking 5x. It's not going to be giving you that. Okay. That's not going to happen, or extremely, extremely, extremely unlikely to happen. This one is getting in and out relatively fast on a daily time frame. And that's the name of the game there. Anyways, we should probably get into some actual analysis here. I've got all kinds of issues, so I'll email also. Yeah, that's what she's there for, ma'am. How have you not ended in Dubai like every other crypto guru? Wait, well, because one, I'm not a fucking crypto guru. That is a disgusting term to me, man. Like, at the end of the day, I was always a trader first, and now I'm kind of an investor first, to be honest, man. Like, I'm mostly just do holding. I don't do too much active trading. And second off, man, like, I spent a little bit of time in Dubai. Yes, I did. At one point, I did get, let's say, convinced for to do some stupid stuff. But ultimately, it was very, very small and very, very short, and I cut that shit off nearly immediately. That wasn't even anything to do with like crypto per se. It was more just like social media bullshit. But yeah, man. Anyways, yeah, I don't really care to be in Dubai anymore. Honestly, it's a nice place. There are some great things about Dubai. Don't get me wrong, man. But it's just not for us. It's just not for us. I need more nature, man. I need more nature, and all of that. Luke T says, I hear Orlando, Florida is kind of nice. Yeah, man, we were there actually earlier this year. Really, really beautiful there too, and less of a hurricane risk, which is kind of a big one for me, man. Like I I would love to live on the Gulf of America here, but I don't think I could ever do it, man. I cannot deal with the stress of just potentially waking up one day and it's like, oh shit, my fucking house is going to be flooded and I can't use it for the next few months. Like, great, fucking great, man. Who goes to Panama, Florida? Actually, that used to be like the spring break destination, man. I don't know how old you are, but if you watched MTV back like 20 years ago, if you watched MTV 20 years ago, then yeah, that was like that's what we all thought was like the mecca for spring break, man. Yeah, you can go to Disneyland once a week too. Oh dear Lord, don't tempt her, man. That place is crazy. Nashville area, Tennessee actually could be cool, man. Shit, man. Even Fiboswani, where he lives, he was showing me his backyard one time. I'm like, damn, this is awesome. Always rent on the coast. Yeah, that's what I figure, man. But yeah, Switzerland could be a good compromise. Nice nature and taxes are still reasonable. Maybe, I don't know. I hear it's very difficult to emigrate there. You know, if you're not actually Swiss yourself, and if you don't like have a normal job. All right. Got my creatine water loaded and ready to go. Let's get into some actual analysis going on over here. Because there is much to speak about on the old coins today. I don't know. Should I record a video on this one? I don't think I'm going to record a video on this one because I'll upload a video later today on the new quantum wave sweep. But yeah, let's just go through it. I want to start off with daily price statistics as always. Let's wait for them to load. I don't know why TradingView has been doing this recently, or maybe it's my browser, but it just reloads the page every time I click off it and then go back to it. But in this case, Monday actually is the most likely day to close positively. Out of any weekday since this bull market began in 2023. I highly doubt that that's going to be the case today, but hey, just over 54% of all Mondays have closed positively since this bull market began. So it's not like it's anything super crazy there. What I'm always most interested in is the average gain and the average loss. And like I say, this indicator is so fucking underslept on from lower term time frame scalpers. Once again, you can see the bottom end of this average return range for the losing side at 1.91, which is actually the highest of any weekday. So that's not necessarily good as well. But you can see that Bitcoin is bouncing off that. So, you know, if you are a short-term time frame scalper, I mean, this is, again, I mean, that's a very easy trade, right? Bitcoin's already up, more than $1,000 from that low. So, that is, that is indeed a short-term trade. I'm not saying that I'd be holding this trade for forever. Certainly not. But ultimately, what we do have here is again a sort of implication as to where Bitcoin actually closed today. So while Bitcoin is bouncing from that average range low as of right now, if Bitcoin were to say close below it, which would be 115.250, that to me would be another indication that Bitcoin is ready to make the next plunge to the downside, probably retesting the lows of August, somewhere around 112-ish region, give or take a little bit from that number. Now, of course, if you've been on this channel now for the past 2.5 weeks, you've probably seen me talk about this setup too many times, but I talk about it, ad nauseum until it either gets negated or invalidated or it plays out, because that's the way that setups work. And that's why I think many people have a difficulty in trading is that they don't even have a fucking plan to, when you don't have a plan, it's very easy to just, fly around with your emotions. But look, if you have a setup and it has not been invalidated and it has also not reached its target, then it is still alive despite what price action does. So yes, price action did rally here. You can see that actually did not even close above this past high from July from the July highs. It did have a higher close, yes, but it did not close above the wick high, which is important. Anyways, again, this one taking about as much time as we would expect. We've been looking at this setup, which is an interplay between the red and the yellow moving average. When the red crosses the downside of the yellow moving average, that's a 4 EMA under the 21 EMA, then Bitcoin has initiated a minimum corrective signal down to that green moving average, the 55 EMA, many times within this current bull market cycle. And this bull market cycle since 2023 began, there's been 12 prior iterations. 10 of those times, we've seen Bitcoin come back down to that green moving average in a profitable fashion, but it has gotten back down to that level every time. So for example, the last time that we saw this one happen was back here, which was in June, where yes, it fired off. It was actually a loss. So again, I'm not saying this is a great trading strategy to just trade straight up. It is really, really good for YouTube directional analysis. You can see that it took 18 days with a couple rallies in between before Bitcoin hit that target down to the 55. And then yeah, the rally did resume. Now we can pull up another example over here. Similar thing, right? The signal fires off, Bitcoin gets another rally, then it comes back down about 21 days later. So 3 weeks later, And then it gets another rally at actually new highs, and then, comes down hard after that. Then we have another similar example, and by the way, several of these in between as well, but they just hit their target nearly immediately. But the other one that's similar is back on over here from May of 2023. This one, again, taking from the signal fired off to, I'm registering the wrong one, from the signal fired off to the next to the next closing consideration was 19 days. And again, this one was a not profitable one. But if we go back to the current one, from the time that this one fired off, which was on the 5th of August to now, it's been 13 days. So it's actually still a little bit too early, most likely, to be looking for the target to play out down to the green moving average. We're still probably looking closer to maybe Friday of this week or Monday of next week. That's kind of the timing of this that I'd really be expecting. Of course, if it hit this week, look, I'm not fucking complaining. It can hit a little bit, earlier. Of course, these are averages. We have very, very minimal iterations here as well, but it is what it is, man. My main point is I really wouldn't be rushing into any position, even if I was the biggest bull right now, until that condition is met where it fulfills a retest of this moving average, again, which is currently on CME at about just below 113. So do keep in mind with each and every passing day, that's going to be rising up a little bit. So it really depends upon when Bitcoin actually approaches that and fulfills it completely. But for spot price action, what sort of price action would that imply? That would effectively imply a retest of the early August lows. So, if we do see something around there, I'd probably be looking for at least a little bit of a bounce, because even the ones that have failed, they do get bounces, and in some cases big bounces. But what's happening here now is a little bit more concerning to me over the long term. We'll get into that a little bit later, but first I want to give a little bit more, color as to the other indications that we're probably going to see that target hit. So not only do we have this set up right here, but also on the weekly HPDR for CME, we can see that the median is coming in where? It's coming in 113,300. Again, effectively the lows of August and the month prior as well, after rejection of the top side of the 38.2 level right here. So that is very likely a magnet for price action. And I think if you are the most bullish of bulls, I still would have to be expecting a little bit of downside here. But if you are the biggest bull of bulls, then I suppose, you'd be kind of expecting a stab down around here and then Bitcoin to trade sideways and up from there. I personally think that that's a little bit less likely to happen, but hey, I can be massively wrong about that. And these are not, thoughts or opinions that I'm like super married to. But here's the thing. There are several indications, at least in my opinion, that suggest Bitcoin has probably hit a major high here. I'm not saying a macro high. This term gets massively misheard from me. I've spoken about this many times in the past. I'll be like, hey, I think there's going to be a major high. Maybe it's even a macro high, but definitely a major high. And then people will be like, you called a fucking macro high, man, and then it went higher later. You're wrong. Fuck you, Crown. Fuck you. And then I say, listening comprehension, bro. Maybe it's my fault for not, iterating it, saying it properly enough. But anyways, I totally understand that like my speech gets jumbled a lot of the time. But yeah, anyways, if we look over here on the weekly for CME, you do have the opportunity for a swing failure pattern, right? If you're a pattern bro, you do have a wick higher than the prior high of this trend, which looked like a breakout, and then closing the week down with continuation below the low of the prior, which, that is what most reversals do look like. Now, to be fair, on the weekly time frame, Bitcoin is not closed below the red 5 EMA just yet. If and when it does, I think calling for lower prices becomes a lot easier, probably back to like 110-ish. I mean, that's not too crazy from where we're at right now. But again, I expect this current, consolidation to kind of ebb and flow here and just eat up time. I don't think that we're going to be seeing all that much outside of the range, that being between like 112 on spot price action to the downside versus, let's say like 120 to the upside on spot price action. Again, I don't think that we're going to see anything outside of that. You're going to see ebbs and flows within there. There's going to be some bounces. There's probably going to be, another dump, something like this. But we're probably going to be doing a lot of waiting. That's just my opinion. But here's the thing: off of this, off of a rejection like this plus continuation below already, we do see that all higher term time frame stochastic momentum oscillators are positioned to the downside now. The weekly time frame is coming down now, losing the critical zone. So that was one of the potential hopiums that I could have seen before. Now it is losing there, and also some bearish divergence between the highs of of last year, and this one's going to be continuing down as long as Bitcoin's below 122,400. The 5-day time frame, which is going to be closing tonight, is also going to be showing continued downside below the critical zone as long as Bitcoin's closing below 123.5. The 10-day time frame, which is also closing tonight, by the way, is also going to be showing downside freshly for the first time since January of this year, by the way, assuming Bitcoin finishes the day below 122. I think that's rather likely personally, but I just want to show you the last few times that we've actually seen the 10-day time frame cross to the downside from the critical zone, and I'll just mark them off with these green vertical bars here. Let me get rid of this one because it's not relevant, but you got boom, boom, have the double derp right there, so maybe that one is not going to work out, but let's see. So you have this one, both of these were pretty damn close to some major corrections for Bitcoin down to the yellow 21, which is currently at about a little bit below 100,000 bucks. These ones over here probably not timed the best, but did get some further downside price action to be fair, and more importantly, did kind of let you know that hey, a greater sort of consolidation was incoming as well. So again, when I look at something like this, it just tells me, hey, I don't want to be exasperately overly bullish in the short term. I could very easily see Bitcoin trading sideways and down and just playing out another sideways range for another few months, just boring the shit out of everyone, which is honestly a good thing, making everyone super, super mad because we're not seeing, these massive explosive 50% moves to the upside or to the downside. And instead we're getting exactly what we've been speaking about on this channel for a long time, which is ETF-like behavior, where you get these like 15, 20% moves to the upside, followed by consolidation ranges for very long times, and then another fucking trudge to the upside. That is actually an indication of long-term health and maturity. We even spoke about it a little bit on the FIBO-SWANI podcast earlier this weekend, and I think we're both kind of on the same page with that. I think the timing is probably what we disagree with. Like, I think that his $200,000 target probably will be hit. I just think it's going to be later. Like, what if Bitcoin consolidates for the rest of this year, and then we see that run happen in early 2026? His target would still be right. The timing might be a little bit wrong, but I would still consider him right personally because it's not like we entered into a bear market or anything like that. If that were to happen. Now, on top of all of this, I do want to, and then also the biweekly time frame is seeing a fresh twist to the downside, but actually hold on, let's go back to Bitcoin. Actually will turn back up if Bitcoin finishes the next 2 weeks above 112 or so. But that's a fresh bi-weekly. So it's a long 14 days left to go. Bitcoin does need to hold above 112 for that to remain consistent. But I guess there's maybe one shining thing there, if that. But again, like, this is in really, really critical territory. Like, I really don't know how much more it'd have to go to the upside before a greater correction, to be honest. And then, of course, we got the Mac Derp over here, the old MACD, our beautiful MACD. This one's also turning down, some bearish divergence versus those highs of last year too. Again, these are not like disgusting signals that are going to send things to fucking zero. But if Bitcoin corrected down to very low 100s, is that is that worthy? I would think so. I mean, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. Like, look, if you just got rid of the numbers over here on the right hand side and you just kind of drew out something like this, you'd be like, yeah, that looks fine. That looks pretty normal. Doesn't look like anything crazy. But because these numbers are so big, and because if Bitcoin were to get down there, that's like a $20,000 move from top to bottom or more. The shock value of it makes you think otherwise. So yeah, that's kind of my point here. Other than that, I also do want to acknowledge that on the weekly time frame for CME and spot price action as well. By the way, we are seeing the weekly RSI lose the exponential here. It's not super diabolical just yet. Maybe on spot it is. Let's see. Spot looks a little bit worse, but if we do see this one get kicked out of the bullish control zone at the end of this week, that would be another indication to me that, hey, yeah, Bitcoin probably does want to try and move towards the 21 EMA on the weekly, which actually has been a good bottoming area for, several runs throughout this bull market. But yeah, as of right now, this one's playing out many drives of bearish divergence. So, just let it do its thing. Other than that, I think that's pretty much, what I wanted to speak about today. Again, it's kind of wrapping up the thoughts. Short term, I think that we're going to see an ebb and a flow here. Probably in the short term, we even see a bit of a bounce attempt. But ultimately, I still would not consider the current correction at minimum done until we see a move down to that green 55 EMA. So if you do get like a 4-hour bounce, I think it's going to be arrested, very likely at least before 118 or something like this. These ranges are big, so they can really deceive you quite easily. Let's go down to the 4-hour time frame right here. Let's see where the most recent price action pivot is. Most recent price action pivot is 118.650. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. So, as long as you're below there, it just has to be kind of a downside bias. You can get a bounce up, obviously, but lower highs as long as you're below there. And again, that those targets lower exist until they don't. So fair enough. Anyways, I'm gonna take a sip of this water, then we'll get into some actual comments. Some comments. Did Elsa just message me? No. My father is messaging me. Price action charts. I don't think that he understands I have TradingView, and I can see. Do I think that Elsa looks like my dad? Yeah, especially the boobs. No, he doesn't have man tits. Actually, he's also out of weight. He looks probably the best that he ever has. But still, I can never understand why would a type 2 diabetic ever fucking touch sugar ever. Holy shit. It drives me crazy whenever I see him do it. But hey, he's a grown man. He can do what the fuck he wants to do. But man, it makes me cry. It makes me cry at night. It really does. All right. Okay. Please bring back the screaming lesbian, says John. I can only do one thing at a time, sir. So I'll bring back something for you. And here it is. Let me just find it deep inside my fucking drawers. Oh. Oops. Bazin Gilaire says, Dear sir, how are you? Feeling poopy. Could you look at Sol on the 4, 6, and 12 hour, please? Yes, I can. Let's go see it on this chart right here. Where's my Solana chart? I know I have it here somewhere. Yes, there we go. All right. Solana rejected once again at 200. I know you didn't ask about the daily, but look, you're about to get a phantom drive of bearish evidence here on Caretaker's RSI. I think this one's coming down, man. I don't care. Like 4, 6, and 12, they're all the same shit to me, to be honest. You might get a short-term bounce to like 185, 186, but this thing is short-term bearish as long as you're below the 12-hour price action pivot, which is 196 on a closing basis. I think that you're more likely to come back down to this like 165, 170 base here. Alongside Bitcoin, this looks again corrective to me at best. And 6-hour time frame looks like it wants to push off to the downside to me in the short term, to be honest. Weekly time frame coming off of that weekly 5 EMA, so I think that was kind of like your short term bounce. Again, if it wanted to try a little bit more on the short term bounce, that's fine, but I still think that you're likely coming down here, to be honest. Other than that, the only thing I'd really focus on is actually the monthly. The monthly closing above 169 is very critical in my opinion. Closing above 169 keeps the long-term Bula hopes alive. Closing below 169 is going to send this one into a very long-term sideways consolidation, and next move should be to the downside if that happens. So we shall see. Pizza says, hey, hello, Crown. What's up, ma'am? Could you take a look at XRP? I can indeed. How's XRPP doing? Well, it is going down as well. What do you know? Is there going to be a short-term bounce attempt on the green 55 similar to Bitcoin? Yeah, I think so. Yes. I don't know what time frame you're looking at because you didn't specify, but here's the thing, man. All eyes, in my opinion, should be on the weekly. If the weekly closes anywhere below last week's low, which is $3, which is trading below right now, but again, it's very early within this week. Literally not one day has even passed in this week just yet. But if you do see that closure below, I would be looking for a much greater correction down to like 260, 270-ish region. But for right now, I'd give it a chance to bounce. Maybe after one more small try to the downside, maybe it tries to like 288, 289 first, and then tries for a bounce. But yeah, where's my price action pivot? Yeah, price action pivot here, 315. So as long as you're below there, all bounces are just that, bounces before trending lower. So, maybe something like this, maybe it does try a bounce here, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I do think it will come lower, and then hopefully for your sake, if you are long this thing, it puts in a low here. Personally, I think if you see that weekly close below the 5 EMA, we're gonna see a big dump off there. So yeah. But yeah, higher term time frame still not like, it's still better than most other things. But of course, if Bitcoin's going one direction, do you expect shitcoins to be going in a different direction? No, like they generally all go in the same direction with varying degrees of strength and weakness. Make America British again? Hell fucking no. Except for the accent. I'll take the accent just because it makes you sound super cool and super smart. Heisenberg says, can you analysize Sonic, please? Oh, you want the FTM, right? Yes, migrated to Sonic. And for the love of God, don't make me do the whole goddamn thing again. But yes, they are indeed the same chart. I can assure you of this. It's literally the same chart. No time frames given, but yeah, it's a downtrend. It's been a downtrend since, pretty nasty one on the daily since December of last year. Rejected right at the green 55. That's exactly where you expect a rejection if you are going to continue on the trend. And this one looks to me like it probably does. I think you're more likely to come back down to your August lows than try to the upside here. But let's see where things actually switch around. Okay, there always needs to be an invalidation. So if this thing could close above 34.5 cent, if it could close above 34.5 cent on a daily, I do think you'd get one more run towards like 42, 43 cent. But until then, I would generally be biased towards retesting these lows from August, something like this. I mean, long term, this is just garbage chart, man. Absolute garbage chart. I don't care what the fuck, you rename this thing. It is a genius move. Like, they renamed it, and then all of the herpity-derpity redacts were like, oh, man, it's a whole new chart. Look, it's so much better. It's still absolute garbage chart, by the way. It's just hasn't been going down for as long, but yeah, when you look at the full picture, it gets very, very bad. It gets very, very bad, man. I have nothing good to say about this long term at all. Are you going to get short term pops here and there? Sure. I think you just kind of had one. Is it getting rejected at the area of of worstness? I guess so. I mean, is it really that weak though? I mean, Jesus, man. Can't even get a rally in a fucking straight up bull market. Fucking buy the dip 3058 says Syrup Maple has a bottomed, brother. Is this a good entry, or is it a short and long term? Well, I don't know. It has the name of a food, so perhaps it is going to be amazing. No, I don't think that this one's bottomed, man. Look, if I don't think Bitcoin's really bottomed in the short term, how could I think that something like this is bottomed? I think that you're more likely to come back down to these lows here, like 38 to 36 cent region. I guess the most hopium bullish look on it would be, it just stabs these lows and then quickly reverses. But I do think that you go a little bit lower from where you're at right now. Weekly looks like a reversal to me, just to shoot you 100% straight. If I had to call this one, I think it's going down to 30 cents, honestly. But there are going to be bounces along the way, of course. But in this case, like, look, where's your daily price action pivot? It's 53.5 cent. Like, as long as you're below there, all bounces are just that, bounces. 4 hour time frame, you might get another short-term bounce here. That's fine. Might pop back up to like 43, 44 cents. That doesn't really do anything for the trend though. Overall, I think within this next week or two, you do come a little bit lower, with potential for much more later on if that August low breaks in, meaning that there's a closure below it. So yeah, hopefully that was helpful, man. And of course, the invalidation for maximum bullishness would be any sort of a daily closure back above this price action pivot high at 53.5 cent. By the way, shout out to Bear Nutrition, the creator of the price action pivots. Again, initially it was created for noobs, and then I was like, I want to use this shit. This is amazing. This is fucking great. It just tells you exactly where things are. Nice, very, very nice. To a very high degree, of course. Nothing can be perfect, though. I should let you know. Anyways, McDon's house, Deuteronomy. Can you take a look at QUBIC on the daily? All right. I don't know if I've seen this one. Sounds new to me. It also sounds like oh, nope, it's very bad. Very fucking bad, sir. But you're looking at the daily. So the short term might not be that bad. I mean, it's held up better than most things in the past couple weeks. Having a pretty good bounce here thus far. I don't know, man. I have a really difficult time when, we speak about kind of a generally unknown shitcoin and Bitcoin's looking one direction and this thing is actually not following it. That can be perceived as relative strength, of course, but personally, I would be a little bit more, what's it called? Skeptical. Anyways, look, if you start to see a closure below that yellow 21 EMA on the daily time frame, I would say that this one is going to be confirming a deeper correction, probably back down to these August lows as well. But until then, I guess there is some hopium on this one in the way that we don't really see on the other ones. But then again, I go to the 4 hour. I mean, this is like a nasty drop off right there. It might rally back up to whatever the hell this number is right here, something like this. But I mean, that is a lower high, and I'm going to be biased towards this thing generally following Bitcoin. And again, the long term just being this god awful makes me really not want to trust rallies, because all rallies have failed on something like this. So even getting back above those November of last year highs is going to be a massive ask for something like this. Again, that could imply that maybe it does rally more from here. If it were to continue, I guess somewhere around this 0.4 number, whatever the hell this number is right here, it still wouldn't be a new high, but it would be a significant move, right? So yeah, a little bit more difficult for me. So I just want to be very, very transparent and open and honest when that happens, because I don't have a super strong bias in the short term. I am more inclined to say it is going to come back down to these August lows. So if I had to bet on a direction, John Dude says Litecoin. Oh, the light derp. It's always a warning signal when light derp, Bcash, XLM, and what's the other one? There's another one, rally, and these ones were late ralliers as usual, nowhere near prior highs as usual as well. Nice rejection right here. I do think that this one is getting ready for a deeper pullback, but it's actually like long term. This is not terrible, at least not yet. I actually don't think that. I do think later on this thing probably does make a move to the upside past 150, but in the short term, does it correct more? I think that this one's probably going to come back down to like 110, maybe even 100, or whatever these lows here are from early August again. Yeah, weekly. I mean, this is a very obvious pivot now, right? As long as you're below 130. There's not really, it's a consolidation sideways and lower at best. But again, you got higher lows here as long as you're above, especially like, 95, 96 bucks. So it can afford a pullback and still long-term pull through to the upside. But I do think that this next move is more likely to be a corrective move rather than a continuation move, just to put it bluntly. I need to take another sip of this water, man. Very nice. Very good. Mr. Steven Shipman, what's up, man? Dog, I wonder what time zone you're in, man, because you were like first one in the European streams, and now you're in the American streams as well, man. That's awesome. I don't know, either that or you're a vampire or some shit, maybe. Anyways, Doggy Coin, 22 cents over here. Yeah, similar to the other ones, the consolidation range between 28.5 cents to the upside versus, okay, let me just mark these off. Versus basically your 200 simple to the downside. You just reject it from the top side. I think generally you're going to be coming back closer to the bottom of the end of this. But similar to Litecoin, I actually don't think it's that bad long term, to be honest. And now that I look at the monthly, I think I might very well be wrong about this one correcting that deeply. I do think it'll come down to like 20 cents, but maybe I'm getting a little bit. Yeah, I'd be looking for somewhere down around 20 cents. I don't know, in the next week or two. And then hopefully a big bounce there. If you see a low being put in there, that would be a really, really good sign. And if this thing can trade back above last Wednesday's high at 25.5 cents, and especially close a daily dodo above there, I would say that this one's ready to make the next real move to the upside, probably north of 30 cents. So long term, I actually don't hate these things, to be honest. In the short term, though, I do think that they can correct a little bit more and drag this out and be very, very annoying. Hopefully that was helpful, man. Mike McLaughlin says, stock, nice. We got some stonk action. Daily and weekly. Okay. This one's on Nicey, and yes. Okay. Appreciate that, man. Weekly here, that does look like a local and a swing high to me. Short term, I'd be looking for this one to come back down to 67.25. Probably tries a short term bounce there, but I do not think that is going to be a reversal. Daily time frame has several drives of bearish divergence here on Caretakers RSI. I think that this one wants to come lower. Overall, I think you're going to at some point in like the next month see this thing a little bit below 60 bucks. Maybe even goes for the gap here at, that would be much lower at $50, but at least 60 bucks, I don't know, in this next month or so. This one's ready for a correction, man. But overall, I mean, again, long term, something that is, closing on new all-time highs is good. Like, I do think it's going to be a short-term correction into a long-term trend. But yeah, that still is, pretty big moves percentage-wise on something like, down to 60 bucks. That's nearly 30% correction. That's a big move. So yeah, man. Old Gringold says, GM, good morning to you as well, sir. Thoughts on EULUSD daily weekly? Yeah, I remember someone brought this up a while ago. It's one of the better actors like a few months ago, and it certainly did follow through. It did act like a better actor. But this one, again, really does look like it's putting a major high to me here. Yes, there's going to be bounces along the way. Probably tries to bounce soon, around 10 bucks even, give or take like a quarter from that number, let's say. But really don't want to see it close below $10, even on a daily time frame. If that happens, I do think that this could get a lot more nasty, and you see like maybe another 20% slip down to $8. But until then, I'd give this one the benefit of the doubt just because it has been one of the better actors. And it is actually possible, not this week, but maybe next week or the week after that, you may have conditions for hidden bullish divergence present. So I'd keep an eye on it, but still short-term, medium-term corrective. Yeah, you might get bounces in the short term, but again, price action pivots here. As long as you're below 12.5 bucks, I'd be looking at bounces as just that, bounces before continuing the sideways and downside correction. DPS 52s says SPK, how to read an area of interest on the 4-hour and daily. So when you say area of interest, that can mean many different things. I'm guessing in the context of the current conversation, you probably mean like area of interest, like a reversal point or like a support or resistance, basically. For that, I would, again, just shill the price action pivots indicator right here. It's the easiest, most automated way to do it. Again, it's going to get things right about 90% of the time. It's not always going to be perfect. Like nothing can be, obviously, but that's the trade-off we make when we do things algorithmically. But yeah, in this case, 4-hour time frame, I'd be looking at whatever this high is right here, like 8.4 cent. If you can get back above there, I think you could put in a rally towards 9 cent. But you know, that doesn't really do all that much, and I certainly wouldn't be biased towards that. Sorry, it's a, oh wow, there's like multiple helicopters. Black helicopters are circling around outside. What could be, oh my God, there's 3. What the actual fuck, man? Are we at war? There's 4. There's 5. I have the documents right here. 4 black helicopters flying upside. Who knows what the hell is going on? What are these government lizards doing nowadays? They didn't like that analysis. Many drives of hidden bearish evidence here have to be biased towards the downside, man. Yeah, this is a garbage chart.
Hey.
What?
Ice is coming from me.
Daily time frame, I should also let you know, where's your area of interest? Like, where does this thing actually reverse? Price action pivots is highlighting this high here at 13.5 cents. Again, just kind of want to show, like, this thing is nowhere near reversing, man. I think you're heading lower towards 6.9 cents. Maybe try a bounce there, and hopefully for your sake, you know, it turns into reversal, but has to at minimum at least reclaim that 4-hour number, which I think is, you know, kind of has its work cut out for it. But yeah, I mean, there will be bounces, obviously. Anyways, Gallo Xavier says CRVUSD 8-hour and 4-hour. I don't really look at the 8-hour, man. I don't really care about it. I like the 6-hour, if anything. So I'll look at that one. I'm not doing what you want, man. Fuck you, I won't do what you tell me. Kidding, okay, kidding. It's from a song. All right, if you don't know the song, go fuck yourself, because you are uneducated and uncultured, and it's honestly disgusting. Anyways, you're saying using meta signals, the algo said to close it at 87 cents for a stop loss. I mean, I could understand if someone wanted to put a stop loss on a closure at 85 cents rather than 87 cents. But look, I think this is gonna be a loser either way if it's a long trade. I guess the hopium here is that price action pivots is marking this one off as a falling pizza, but I personally would disagree with it on this one. Just a personal disagreement. But I've seen signals work rightly after. Look, it can definitely do that, Mr. Gallo, but you have to understand, man, when you're playing meta signals, when you're playing any strategy that is effectively leveraging probabilistic statistics in your favor, if you don't play it in that way, you are asking for a girthy, very powerful, very large, maybe even spiked red dildo, which may sound something.
Oh, fuck my bunghole! Ah! Oh. Oh. Oh, fuck my bunghole! Ah! My bunghole is bleeding! Ah!
That could be you. I'm not saying it's gonna be you, but it could be. Anyways, look, man, I'm gonna shoot you straight on this one. I think that this is absolute fucking garbage in terms of charts. I think you just got a weekly rejection right at the 200 moving average. That's not a good sign in my opinion at all whatsoever. You might get bounces up. It might even trade back, you know, close to $1 again. That's possible, but I think that this high right here is very likely going to be the next sort of major high for this thing. At least that's what I'd be betting on. Of course, I can be wrong. How would you know I'm wrong? Just close above there. That's it. But until then, man, I mean, this thing has never really known what an uptrend is. So forgive me for not believing in it. But yeah, if you're looking for a short-term bounce, look, I love meta signals and they've had a great run, but I really don't like the shitcoin alerts on them or the shitcoin setups on them, just because I think it's really difficult to trust those ones because it's a fact. You cannot test probabilistic setups as much on shitcoins as you can on something like Bitcoin. There's just not enough history. Creighton C says, people at work are going, what the fuck is going on here? Whenever someone says that, I think of the ancient gif of that black lady from, it must have been like one of those shows, I don't know, Leave It to Beaver or something. And she's like, oh, Lord, what's going on in here? She's lovely. I guess she kind of sounds like your mom a little bit. Yeah, again, man, I think this one's more likely to go to the downside here. If it is going to break out later, like, I don't know, I guess you might see something like this, right? Because you do have the falling pizza, I suppose, in there, but it would still imply like maybe one more retest of these lows and then it tries that. But you are playing with fire at that point, in my opinion, because that's like a big fucking if. Because this thing is very, it would not be uncharacteristic to see it have a straight fucking shot down to like 70 cents. Please bring back the screaming lesbians. I'm working on all of this. I'm looking at all of this. Okay. But I'm waiting on my soundboard to my macro controller to come back. I can just buy a new one, I guess. But yeah, lots of stuff, man. Oh, lots of fun stuff. Simon Kim says, hey, Crown, can you take a look at AEROUSD and AEROUSD? Only one at a time, sir. Only one at a time. Get with the program, for fuck's sake. We only got so much time. My voice only has so much energy before it completely craps out. So we'll look at only one shitcoin at a time for $2. Okay. All right. It looks to me like a major high here, man. 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence on the daily time frame. Losing the 5 EMA, I think you're coming down to like 112. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but sometime in the next week or two. Long term, it's actually not terrible. It's not terrible. Like, I do like this rally here, obviously. It can afford a pullback down to, low teens, low 1 teens. Still got higher lows as long as you're above 70 cents. So, just be aware. It could pull back a lot and still remain long-term okay. But in the short term, I think that you've hit a major high right here and you're coming down closer to this region here. And then hopefully it puts in a higher low. And if you see something like that, then yes, that might indeed be the real push. But until then, sideways and down. TJ says, SOFI stock, daily, weekly, please. Sure, ma'am. SOFI stock, daily and weekly. I don't know when I charted this one. Okay, it's just hitting the prior all-time highs. That's what I have on this. This one must have been a very long time ago that I charted this off. Look, it's very, very, very common. This is almost the same thing as Ethereum, honestly. When you retest a prior all-time high, you're very likely to pull back from that region and try for a higher low. But this thing has not tried for a higher low yet. It's just hit that region. I think you're getting ready to pull back from this. You're going to have major bearish divergence here on the weekly time frame between the highs of November of last year and the highs being put in here. So I do think you're at least going to correct down to like $20. It might even come all the way back down to like $18.50. But that would be the first areas that I'd be considering. Okay, maybe you can try for a higher low there. But for right now, man, I'd be looking at this as a very likely high being put in here. Now, I will be wrong, and this thing is massively mega bullish for new all-time highs if and only if it can close back above the late July highs. If it can do that, then yeah, should go up to like $30. But I'd be more biased towards a pullback here first, higher low, and then another try to the upside. Gallos is currently testing meta signals with 100K per trade. Are there problems I could get when trades are too large? How do I know my size can move the market? If it's Bitcoin, you're not going to move the market with anything less than like 10 million bucks. So you're fine there. If it's some random shitcoin that literally has $5 in terms of liquidity, then yes, you will move the market. But look, if you're sticking to the big ones like Bitcoin, Ethereum, even XRP, probably, most of these things can honestly absorb 100,000 pretty easily. But once you get out of like the top 10 market cap ones, then you might have some issues. I really don't know. I don't have much experience in trading the lower cap shitcoins, to be honest. So I couldn't tell you, but I can tell you for sure on Bitcoin, you're gonna have absolutely no issue. Ethereum's probably no issue as well. But yeah. So yeah. How do you know that your size can move the market? Well, you go onto your exchange of choice, you load up 100,000 in terms of position size, you hit the market green button and see how much price moves. Or you can just look at the order books and see, what's liquid at, at market. It's not going to be like the full picture, but it'll give you a decent understanding, I suppose. Okay. Fucking by the dip, he's back. He's looking at Chainlink 4-hour and daily and or short term. I'm trying to see what's a good entry and exit if it's still got gas left. I think last I looked at it, it was good, but looking for a pullback because it, again, one of those moves where, yeah, it retested the prior high. It is acting relatively better than most things, to be honest, just because, relatively stronger than most things, just because it really hasn't pulled back that much. Alongside the rest of the market. But, you know, you have several drives of bearish divergence here. I do think you're going to pull back again, just because it has hit this prior high here. It's very close to it. Whether it spikes, you know, $30 or first, or it pulls back from here first, I don't know. But I would be thinking whichever, you know, wherever it gets between those, it will pull back before any further tries the upside. Personally, I think it'll get somewhere back down to like low 20s. But long term, I think that this is good, actually. I think this is very, very good. And I do think that this one will see above $30. It's just this might take a few months, you know, 2 to 3 months, something like that. But overall, I mean, you know, this one actually has reversed into a macro uptrend. You have higher highs and higher lows here on a monthly time frame. Most shitcoins do not have that, so that is a signal of strength. And basically, if the quarterly, which closes not at the end of this month but at the end of September, closes anywhere above $22, which I think you could pull back to right now. But if it closes above there by the end of September, I think this one's getting ready to really put in like a major move into the deep 30s, low 40s, something like this, man. But even when I go to the low term time frames, it's really not bad. Like if I was just looking at this, I'd say, yeah, this is actually pretty good. But I would use that last 4-hour low here at about 24.30 as kind of a bias buster. If you do start to lose that level, then yeah, this one should correct down to like low 20s first, and then maybe try to the upside later. Chris Vela says, if I'm bag holding a shitcoin, cut loss versus wait rip. I'm actually gonna make a video about this. I've started already putting the materials together because it's actually a lot more complicated than what you think. But just to give you the answer in 1 second, it depends. Okay. The way that I think about it is, can it offset taxes or not? Because if you have gains elsewhere and you have the shitcoin that's already losing, you can use that to just offset your taxable income because you're going to be recording a loss. But in some of those cases, actually, I will actually wait for the loss to get bigger, and then I'll get out of that and then get into my winner. So, for example, I did in stocks recently. I sold one of my losers during the last market downturn, and then I just went straight into one of my biggest winners, which is defense ETF. So yeah. So I would say it depends. If you just want to look, cutting it right now is like not the worst decision either. Like, especially with the way that the market's looking, you might as well just get a few more dollar value for it right now. And if you want to go into something else stronger later on, I think that's a fair play. Of course, I'm not your dad, I'm not your financial advisor, but that's kind of how I would be thinking in this situation. The one thing I would not be doing is just holding it. The best time to sell it was yesterday. The second best time is last minute, and the third best time is right now. Generally, again. I just don't think it's wise. So yeah. John says, GM, good morning to you as well, sir. Daily, weekly for Palantir pullback buy zones. Well, I don't know your long-term strategy or anything like this, so I don't think I can be your financial advisor because that's also fucking illegal. So maybe don't ask questions like that, sir. Anyways, yeah, I do think it's going to pull back here. First obvious pullback area is going to be 169. Do I think it's going to stop there, though? Actually, no. I mean, you got 3 drives of bearish divergence here on the weekly RSI. I think that this is going to be a big pullback. I think it's going to pull back down closer to like 150-ish region. Maybe that could be the next major low. But yeah, I generally think that this one's correcting now. I mean, you don't see a monthly RSI like this on something that actually looks good long term very often. Like, that's just a crazy chart, absolute crazy chart. But yeah, I'm happy for this one to pull back personally because I would like to get bigger positions. You got a big gap here at 160. I do think it probably goes a little bit lower than that, but there's going to be bounces along the way. That's probably a good bounce area short term as well. BK says Uranus on Sol. Am I being trolled or is this a real thing? Uranus, Sol. Well, I'm just going to go to this thing. I'm just going to try this thing. Actually a pretty good chart, to be honest, compared to most things we've seen today. Hidden bullish evidence on the daily time frame. I don't know, does it pop up to like 58, 59 cents? Probably, yeah. Do I trust a random shitcoin that is doing something completely different to the rest of the market? Generally, no. So it makes me a bit skeptical, but hey, I would run with that as long as you're above the price action pivot here, which is last Wednesday's low at 37 cents. As long as you're above there, I guess I'd be betting in that direction, but do not be surprised if this one switches around and switches around fast. If it loses this low, it's going much lower, in my opinion. Yeah, 4 hour time frame. Yeah, I mean, not bad here. I mean, honestly, this is one of the few things that actually looks like it might even pull through to the upside in the short term. 09 BMed, BNB with CZ. Oh man, I can do the CZ voice, but my voice is going to start to hurt, and I need to see how many more comments we have here because I won't be able to go for much longer once that happens.
Okay, we'll look at the BNB coin now. The BNB coin go up, go up a very high, higher than a war with China. And now we see a new all-time high. Very nice. But is there a correction inbound? Maybe so. There is a bearish divergence. Oh, fuck. My honor is fucked. We have 3 drives of a bearish divergence. It might come down to $800. Maybe lower to 760. Very bad. But bullish long term.
Crypto Ninja says, Kita Crypto, one day, please.
Do you want me to close this?
No, it's fine. Looks great, man. 1, 2, 3 drives of bearish divergence, already hit the 21. Maybe a small bounce attempt here to like 130, but I think that this one actually is going to correct lower towards 115, 112-ish region. That could be the next like major low though. I mean, this is not bad compared to most things. But yeah, I do think it's a little more likely to correct a little bit more after a short-term bounce, perhaps. Only way I'd switch around, my opinion, is if it traded back above the Saturday high, like 150. If it did that, then it's bullish. But until then, yeah, I think corrects more. But long-term, actually better chart than most things we've seen. Mr. Cowboy NZ says, good morning, Crown. What's up, ma'am? You must be from New Zealand. Also another very beautiful place. Could you please analysize Ethereum on short turn? I will do it on the short turn, sir. You guys are welcome either in Brazil or New Zealand. Brazil. Oh, you're from Brazil. Or maybe you live in Brazil. Or maybe, oh no, you probably live in Brazil, but you are from New Zealand. Man, both those places honestly look pretty damn cool. But I think I'd be super. Is New Zealand like Australia, but without all the killer animals? Is that kind of how it works? I really don't know much about it except for Lord of the Rings was filmed there. Look, Ethereum. You know, we've kind of seen. Oh, and they have I think the crazy prime minister though is not there anymore. I mean, holy shit, man! Like, how do you fucking Redux vote someone like that? Like this lady should be teaching at a school, and I'm not saying that to denigrate school teachers. I'm saying that because I've had very bad experience with school teachers who look like her and sound like her and act like her. It's for your safety. It's for your safety. Well, we wouldn't want to be unsafe, so whatever you say, lady. Yeah, look, so we've seen a few similar charts to this this week. Now, look, long term, I actually think that this is quite good, but short term, medium term, look, it hit that prior high. It's very likely to pull back. That's exactly what we said last week. It has been pulling back since last week. There's going to be bounces along the way, but I think it's time for like a real correction here. You know, in the short term, you might get a bounce kind of where it's at, or where the lowest today, maybe a little bit lower at like 41.50. That's what I was saying, I think, the other day. But if that bounce really fails to reclaim new highs, I mean, I think that this one's going to correct, you know, a little bit further south of 4,000. But long term, this is not bad, in my opinion. I just think that you can pull back like a pretty decent amount here, like somewhere around 4,000, and then come back to it after that. And yeah, keep in mind that the quarterly 5 EMA is like very far away from current price action. So, you know, coming into Q4, like it might correct a lot. Before it has another real upside try, but long term, don't mistake that. Long term, actually, this in my opinion, this is actually pretty good. I just think hit the prior high, very likely to just spend a while correcting here. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful, man. Cole Hatcher says Tempus AI stock. Oh, it's a stock. Okay, cool. Nice. It's Kathy Wood's suggestion. I got in at 57. Okay, so you're in significant profit. That's awesome, like 50% almost. Does it look like on a longer term it might break above 77 to 80? It's a really weird chart to me, so I want to just state right at the outset that I don't feel super confident on this one. But if I had to call it, look, the trend is your friend, and the trend is to the upside here. It's a bit new, so I don't really think that there's been like a super long-term trend established. But if I'm looking at the monthly, I think this is quite good. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing make a move towards 100. The monthly does have a massive bullish engulfing dildo right now, so as long as you're above $66, I personally would be looking for this one to just fall through to the upside. But there is a big lack of like very long-term history. Obviously your next breakout point is just that June high. So I need to see a weekly closure above there. And then this one, probably shoots up to like 85, $90. And I don't know, from there, it just probably goes to at least 100. So yeah, overall, I think pretty good. I'd only be bearish on this one if it really came back down below last week's low, honestly. So it's kind of like a big range, but yeah, hopefully that's helpful, man. Ooh, excuse me. Chris Vela says MicroStrategy. Yeah, got MicroStrategy. I imagine it's probably coming down today. Let's see. Yeah, we've been saying correction on MicroStrategy for a while now, and I think it's still going to correct here more. Actually, I think it's going to come down to low 300s. Same shit as I said last week. I think it's going to take some time, but look, the monthly really does look like a major reversal to me. I'm not saying it's going to enter into like a macro downtrend, but it just hit not major reverse, but major high. After you hit a major high, you must come down and make a low. And so for something like this, I think that you're going to be coming down in the next month or two to like low 300s. And there should at least be a bounce temp there. If it does go lower, I guess I'd be looking at like 260, 270-ish region. But yeah, I think it's done going to the upside for, and making new highs above like 400 for a while now. Like 450, whatever this high is right here. In the short term, 415 kind of the number to beat. I just generally be looking for a correction to emerge as long as you're below there, basically. BK says TOKABUUSD. Okay, this is a new one. But honestly, new ones are probably a better sign than most other things. Anyways, I guess I'll go on. That's versus Ethereum. There's a lot of them here, man. I'm going to go to the one on MEXC just because this is usually the shitcoin exchange of choice. Very, very minimal history here to be going off of, man. So I really don't have a good analysis on this. 4-hour time frame, it might bounce a little bit, might bounce back up to 6 cents. I don't fucking know. I don't have strong opinions on that. My strong opinion is on bearish as long as you're below 7 cent price action pivot. And if I'm looking at the daily, it does look like a swing high here. So I'd kind of be biased towards it coming down like 30 to 40% towards 3.5 cent region. But there's going to be bounces and whatnot in between. But again, very, very new. So I'm not going off of much, and I don't feel very confident on that. I just want to be super, super transparent when that's the case. I mean, shit, even when I do have a lot of history, like I still get things wrong, It's all a game of probabilities. Like, you're going to be wrong. Have to be wrong. It's just you want to be right more often than not. That's basically it. Deal or no deal UK version is jokes as fuck. Oh, man, I'm actually really curious what that is even like. Will St. Clair says, Crown, when looking at something like Ethereum, would you take a CME gap into consideration for an area of interest? Sure. Yeah. There's a gap around 4,000. Yeah. I mean, 4,000 is also just technical area as well. So yeah, makes sense. We need Krong AI. There actually is an AI Crown version. It's actually in the programs here, but yeah, it's like a chat bot basically. It's not like a fucking me bot yet. Surely soon enough they will have. Jordan Giacalini says UNH stonks pumping. Yeah, man. I fucking totally dropped the ball on my UNH. I had a fucking order in for UNH for so long at like 2:30, and I just missed it, and then I got too greedy, not chasing it. Dumb. Very, very dumb. Very, very dumb. It is what it is, though. Matt Smeed. What's up, Mr. Matthew Smeed? My bunghole shall not be breached. Yes, indeed. Very tight bunghole. Very, very tight bunghole. We like that. Lobotomite. I I could try. Lil Baller says, Crown, it seems like when a security starts to follow other one, they begin to move in opposite direction at times when the main is making a move and then it follows. I think I kind of understand what you're saying. I don't know if I have the same synopsis, but maybe you mean like in the short term and then in the long term they go in the same direction. Maybe it's not something that I've really noticed myself, to be honest. I'd have to like really keep an eye out for it, but yeah, maybe. I don't know. Is it going to be a Crown CZ? Maybe, but his voice is going to be absolutely ruined very quickly. Chris Vela says Figma stock. All right, Figma balls. Figma stock. Nicey. Very bad. Very, very bad. Very fucking bad, sir. Not much of a chart here to be looking at again. It's been around for less than a month. But the history that we do have is bad. Again, you know, I'm not going off of much here. When you have a super new chart, it is very possible you might just get one of those fucking pumps out of nowhere. Definitely possible. But going off of this, let's say, it doesn't look good, bruh. LP Philosopher says USDT dominance and a falling wedgerino, a falling pizza. Yeah, actually, I mean, the last I looked at it, the price action pivots had it marked off like that. Yeah. Oh, wow. Is it going to bust? Ooh, it might bust. There might be some busting action going on here. The bust will be very powerful if it does. I mean, you got shit. Yeah, this can get a lot worse. Weekly momentum to the upside for the first time in a long time from the critical zone, which is where a lot of the last major tether dominance rally started. Bullish divergence as well. Yeah, it's very close. You can see it's even playing off that. So it seems like that actually is a real pivot right there. Now, personally, I'm actually not convinced it's going to shoot to the upside exactly from here. I think it might spend a little bit more time and then try. But yeah, it is in there. You are right. It is definitely in there. But then I go to the monthly. Monthly has not been super trustworthy on these signals, but it is pointed to the downside right now. Yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing, man. Like, if this thing breaks down from here, you're going to see like the biggest fucking bull parabolic rally that we've seen in a long time. But until that happens, I mean, Is the Crown AI as funny as the real Crown? The Crown, I mean, it doesn't really have a personality, to be honest. Can work on one at some point, man. Jordan Jacqueline says, I got very lucky with some well-placed options. Always the next one. Yeah, man. Hell yeah. I love playing options, man. I fucking love playing options. I'm going back to traditional markets just to play options, to be honest. Adrian Lefebvre says, Bonk. We can look at Bonk, man. Yeah. I literally just did it, actually. But you don't listen. Down, man. It's a downtrend. Bearish as long as you're below whatever the hell this last Thursday high is here. I think you're more likely to find your way into this pocket here than anything else. And look, I mean, long term, at least it's not as shitty as like most meme coins, but the way that I read this chart is you just popped up to the range highs. You rejected from the range highs. You're in the middle of the range. Momentum's freshly turning to the downside. I think it's quite likely you'll see somewhere close to the range lows. So I think long term you see somewhere down around here. And then hopefully it really starts to bounce. Sui Pretty Policer. Yeah, we can look at Sui. Why not? Why not? Where's the old Sui Herpity Derp? I swear I have it on my list. There it is. Yeah, so last we looked at Sui, we were saying, hey, this thing is likely put in a local high here. It's going to trade at the downside. Again, long term, I'm not necessarily bearish on this. I just think it comes down more. Yeah. Weekly, like, here's why I think it's going to come down more. Weekly momentum is going to turn down at the end of this week if this thing finishes a week below 369. So rejection at the prior range highs, which are right here. I think it comes down to at least the middle of the range. That's 320. If it fails the middle of the range, it should come all the way down to like 290. At least, if that were to happen. Yeah. But again, long term, I don't hate it. I just think it corrects a little bit more. I could also be really, really wrong about this one coming down more here, to be honest. But when I see daily like this and the weekly also like this, I'm going to be biased in that direction. So that's where my bias is coming from. Yeah. Trans King says, "Hey man, all good. Again, I go off of the regular chats. Just it just depends. Like if priority goes to the super chats, I just have to wait until I've done those. Of course, it makes sense, right? We got limited time, so the only way to handle limited time is to prioritize those people." JGGI. This is on London Shitcoin Exchange. Pretty good, really good actually. Is it ready to bust through to new highs on this rally this week? I think it actually will make another move to the upside, probably like 590. And then I really want to see where the monthly close. If the monthly close above 500, I'd say yeah, this thing is gonna bust big time towards $600. But overall, I like the trend. The trend is your friend. This is a 42 long year trend. Looks to me like we just had another higher low here. I'd only be bearish if this thing comes back down and stays below 560, really. Jordan Jacqueline says, check out UPS, very undervalued. Ooh, undervalued. It's usually famous last words in my experience, but we can check it out. Very undervalued. I mean, look, you're just like when you get to your prior major high, you're likely to pull back. When you get to your prior major low, you're likely to bounce. You probably do bounce around this region, but look, this is a falling knife. It's a falling rock is what it is. And what happens when you drop a rock into water? It falls, it falls, it falls, it falls, it falls. It falls till it hits the bottom, which, probably somewhere around here. And then it stays there for a long time. And I think that's what something like this would do. So it's like, look, if you have a fucking 5-10 year horizon, maybe it's good value play. But in terms of opportunity cost, I think it's going to be absolutely terrible. Because the most unlikely thing for it to do is to just go, whoop. Theos the Greek says, Subcrown. Tom says hi. What's up, Tom? I appreciate that, man. OSAC? All right, we can do a few more of these. Then I think we need to move on with our day. Osaka. Oh, it's like a Japanese coin. Nice. I like Japanese stuff. If I had to call it, I think there's going to be our next local high here, man. It's working back to the downside right around this low. But again, not really much to go off of. Quite a new chart. Not many trends established really here. But if I had to call it, I think you just hit a local high and coming back down. Let's see. How deep into the stream are we? Oh, we're about an hour and a half. All right. Yeah, we'll do like one more then. Mike OX Long says pulley swarm. Okay. I'm just going to type it in and hope for the best. Okay, this thing. It's on CoinDerp. Terrible. Absolutely terrible, man. Really bad. Again, high, low, lower high, already at the prior low. So it must be a lower low to follow. I think weekly momentum is freshly turning to the downside. I think we are getting ready for another long trudge towards 1.5 cent. I don't know how long it's going to take, but yeah, I wouldn't trust shit like this, to be honest. How confident are you on meta signals? Sir, here's exactly how confident I am. Go on to, here, I will show you, Mr. Gallo. All right, it's time to turn on the brains. Let's turn on those brains, baby. Let's turn on those fucking brains, huh? I can tell you exactly how confident I am on each and every signal. You go onto their page, you pick up the most recent card, and you reference the probabilities. There is a win rate for each and every target. That is exactly how confident I am. If it's 70% for target one, I'm 70% confident you'll hit target number one on any singular setup. If it is 82%, then I'm 82% confident of that target. Is that 100% confident? No. Can you ever have 100% confidence? No. Only if you are an actual fucking moron who thinks in black and white terms, which there are many in this space, or there's just many people in general, honestly. Because people cannot deal with the nuanced realities of trading, that you can never be 100% sure what is going to happen. Any trade, even if it is super, even if it looks like the stars are aligning, literally the moon's aligning, can fail. Why? Because there is a non-zero probability of a black swan event, at the very least. And at the very most, then there's just, randomness, of course. All right. Asti says NNE stock. Nice. Thank you for specifying it is a stock. Let's go to this chart here, actually. Is this my... No? Yes. NNE. Nano-nuclear. Ooh, I like the sounds of this. So overall good, you know, it has a nice weekly uptrend, but you did just hit this prior swing high, again, retesting that prior high perfectly. So you're getting another one of these examples where it pulls back from that. That's fine. That's to be expected. I think it will probably pull back more overall, closer to like, I don't know, 25, 26 bucks. Is there going to be a short-term bounce? Maybe bounce back up towards like 38, 39 bucks. That's fine. But I do think you do something like that and then try to the upside. And then you'll have something like this, you know, but it's not a ton of history here, but it looks decent for at least what we have. I just think that you've hit a local high. You're going to come back down and try for a higher low. So yeah, all good. Fitting crypto. Good to see you as well, man. Good to see you as well, sir. Crypto Simps, we're back at it. We are back at it. I'm 100% confident this sedation I'm a use will work, says Ben's chair. I've heard that actually on some people it does not work, which is kind of crazy, man. Will quant program make me unredacted? It can only show you the path. It cannot do it for you, unfortunately. Well, actually, I mean, it kind of can because, you know, you can automate that, but you still need to, there is like, when you get into automated trading, so if you're going to use something like the Quantum Wave Suite or Quant Prime or anything like this, where it is automated, even if it's automated and you have basically probabilistic setups nearly done for you, you can still fuck it up. Why? Well, what happens if your bot goes into a trade and then you freak out and you're like, oh my God, I think this one's definitely going the other way. I need to close this right now because blah, 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 blah. And then you're wrong. You know, you can get in the way of things. There are ways to fuck it up. And then of course, you know, there's just, again, just the non-zero probability of crazy events in nature that can happen. You know, if Rona dump happens, do you expect your strategy to have, you know, a normal result for that day? In some cases, yes. I mean, some people will have fail safes for that, for those sorts of events. Some people will not. They will either make an absolute metric shit ton of money or they'll lose absolutely everything. But yeah, rare, but yes, just have to give them more. Yeah, that's what I hear. Or like if, I don't know, if you take probably meth or PCP, maybe, maybe it doesn't work at all. Maybe you just have to wait. But fair enough. All right. Last one from Mark. He's looking at BitF. This is Bitfarmers. It's a bit miner, I believe, or a Bitcoin miner, which is typically bad. But let's see. Yeah, long-term, absolutely terrible. Again, bull market. Doesn't know what a bull market is. This is in a really precarious place, in my opinion, just because you're right at the place where you'd be expecting a weekly rejection if it is going to indeed be bearish. That would be, again, about 142. Sorry, let's say 145. If you can close a weekly above 145, I would say this thing has a really good potential to rally towards 190 to 195 region, but still that would be another lower high to me. So long term, it's like, are you shit or are you pissed? And I actually do think it probably does head up towards 190-ish region, but I also think it's going to be a lower high, man. So yeah. Daily actually looks like it wants to break out here to the upside in the short term. So I wouldn't be surprised to see like 150 in the next week or two if that one does close above that region. And then if the weekly follows through, then yeah, I think in the next couple months you might see 190 to $2. But again, that's kind of the area where you'd be expecting like a major rejection in terms of the trend. Nova Spark says, sir, I longed 120. My bunghole hurts now from red dildos. What is risk management? It's a good question. Nobody really knows what risk management is. All right, last one for Asti. I promise. This is absolutely the last one. We will not do a single one after this. I need to actually shut it off. But Tesla, because I'm really just curious for my own purposes. Tesla, look, I still actually like Tesla overall. The question to me is, does it finish the month above 320 or not? If it does, I still think that this is an uptrend forming. You know, this is a consolidation forming into an uptrend. If it finishes below 320, then I have to go back to the drawing board because something else is going on. But yeah, if I had to call it, I think it's more likely to fall through to the upside here than not. So yeah. Okay, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you on this nice Monday morning. We'll be back on with another live stream on Wednesday and Friday. We'll keep with the tradition. It's actually been pretty good. I've been really enjoying these. It really makes it, honestly, a shit ton of fun because of the community here. So thanks for joining in, like in a sincere way. I apologize for the well-formulated jokes, but they have no bad intentions. That's all. Just me saying dumb shit on the internet as usual. Anyways, like I said, absolute pleasure. Hope to see everyone here on Wednesday. And of course, tomorrow, Tuesday, we will do another regular video. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully